University. We will be here to discuss everything to do with the hospitality industry and more, particularly during COVID-19. It's one of the most, let's say, sought after industry that a lot of people would be interested in during the pandemic. After this, so we are here to obviously answer any questions that you have. We will be taking all the questions in the Q&A at the bottom of our screen, and if you do have questions throughout, just pop them in there and we will get to them at the very end of the webinar. So without any further ado, I will hand you over to our wonderful speakers. Clémence.
Thank you, Shabula. So I'm Clémence, I'm the International Recruitment Manager for Vatel Bordeaux.
And I'm Lucie Fuentes, I'm the International Recruitment Director. And we're here today to actually talk to you about the opportunities that you're going to find inside of this industry, which are actually plenty. And this is an industry who's starting very long time ago. But when we're talking about professionalism, something who actually related to palaces, to the luxury industry, we're actually thinking of probably more 19th century, when the people actually become professional inside of their job. And what kind of job? Because this is what is going to interest you. So of course, we are talking about operational jobs. When you're learning some skills and when you are a guest at an hotel, for example, you understand correctly what the front office position may be. You think of course, when you're going to a restaurant, to the chef, to the sommelier, or sometimes the manager of the restaurant. When you are again in an hotel, you're thinking housekeeping because the people are coming and making your bed and cleaning the room. But sometimes you're not also thinking of all the small jobs that need to be added to this list from the back office. Here we're talking about the promotion. We are talking about event management, communication, marketing. We are talking also about wedding planner. We are talking about having people coming to the venue, like for the businesses, for conferences, for seminar. We are talking also about accounting, finance, taxation, human resources, of course, and sales. So those are the jobs that you know best. But you also have some jobs that are related when we are talking about PR, journalism, food specialist, photographer also, or entrepreneur, because here it's going to be what's going to interest you the most. When you're coming to a business school like Vatel Bordeaux, you will, of course, learn career opportunity, but you will learn how to negotiate, how to do some businesses.
And you know, as the hospitality is changing enormously, and what we've seen because of the COVID situation, is we have increased all the positions that are in this sector. And there are many jobs that are being created, and there are many jobs that we don't even know yet. So the hospitality industry is super interested in everything related to artificial intelligence, to virtual reality, because these are ways to provide new experiences to the clients and to the guests. Same thing with everything related to sustainability. You know, it's extremely important now that we need to take care of our environment, maybe try to do tourism differently. So that's why you've got a lot of new innovation, you know, learning how to build the hotels differently, how to manage the electricity, how to provide more connected experiences to the guests. When I say connected, it's more connected to what's going on around the hotel, with local people, local food. So you've got plenty of new initiatives which directly stem from the people who are on the ground, who wants to provide a different experience.
You even have something like survival skills, you know, and Clémence was saying, coming back to the roots, so can be a way of consuming the hotel based on the experiences.
So for instance, instead of having salmon coming directly from Norway, you have food which is basically directly extracted from the environment with you know, local fishers. With you know, it seems a bit surprising and like obvious, but actually it was not, because we know that a lot of the biggest hotels are still relating on this kind of neutral food.
So having this initiative of actually working with people around is a big thing. And basically, the hospitality industry is really interested in changing constantly. It's adapting constantly. That's why you're going to have a lot of things changing with, new supply chain, blockchain, also all these basically main changes that are happening everywhere in the business sectors. So they are also happening in the hospitality industry. That's why Lucy has shown you the position that basically we all think about when we thinking about hospitality, but we want you to be aware that there are many more to come, and that many more that we don't even know of. So that's why you've got like a lot of things to think about when you are choosing this industry. And something just to add on to what Clémence was saying, when you're coming, so that you can come from the Bachelor and the MBA, and at the MBA you can come from different background. And here, think of the people before, when you were doing engineering, IT, you were not thinking of adding skills inside of the hospitality industry. Now it's actually an industry who's very into the innovation, into integrating over position, over skills and asset, the technological aspect, and they need you. So based on your profile, your personality, your introvert, your extrovert, you will be able to find a position inside of the hospitality industry.
We wanted to focus on some of the two new jobs, because it's important for you to be able to see what you can do concretely. The first one is data analyst. We told you that data is pretty much the most important revolution in the business sector at the moment. So it's also the case in the hospitality. Basically, what people do now is that they analyze the data, they produce new ones, and the idea is to be able to adapt the experience of the guest. So basically, imagine you arrive, you're checking in a hotel, everything is just made only for you. So when you enter in your room, you've got like the perfect ambience, perfect atmosphere, nice colors, nice music, because that's what has come up in your different choices. It's also the way for hotels and B&B and all the people working in the industry to find new clients, new people who want to basically maybe work remotely, because that's also one of the most important new trends because of the COVID. You've got people working at the other side of the world when their jobs is in Paris, for instance. So you've got a lot of new customers, new possible customers and targets that you can reach with data analysts.
Do you want to go? So you also have something locally here, Bordeaux. So we are coming from Bordeaux. It's the south of France. So we were very well known for the wine industry. And we wanted to explore with you something who's quite actually interesting. It's becoming a wine tourism management. And here, why? Because it's something Bordeaux, it's the capital, the world capital of the wine. So we receive a lot of tourists. Mostly, it's to tour the vineyard, and probably before it was as a group in a bus or just something like that. Now, actually, because of the COVID, the people have to create new ways of interesting the customers. And here can be in vintage care. And actually, Clémence has done that during her vacation inside of an old French car.
It was very bad for my hair.
Yeah, it can be also with, horses. So the vineyard try to go back to the roots and decide to make a tour, for example, of how we were harvesting the wine in the old-fashioned way, before petrol, before electricity. So people are creating a lot of new ways to discover how to enjoy wine, and how you can actually, if you work in a vineyard, create new ideas, new innovation to attract people. So you see here, we were telling you that we are at the stage when you're creating the job of tomorrow. It's your ideas, your creativity based on the local expertise that you're going to have of your own country. Then you're going to be able to export them inside of a different industry.
But what always makes a difference is the experience you're going to provide, because in the hospitality industry, the experience is central. So that's why in data, both in the data analyst job and the wine tourism job, it's what the well-being that you will be able to provide to the guests, which is super important.
The experiences. Customers now want new experience.
So now, how do you come up with this position, and how do you get there? Well, that's by picking the right school and the right group. So we are representing the school of Vatel located in Bordeaux. But we are part of a much bigger group, which is the Vatel Group. It was created 40 years ago. So it's one of the oldest and more experienced group in the hospitality industry. It's business schools, but dedicated to hospitality and tourism. We have currently 55 campuses in 32 countries. So you'll see that it's a widespread network. And as such, we have one of the biggest alumni network of the industry as well. So basically, wherever you want to apply for one of the positions, you know, at the Marriott, the Intercontinental, for instance, you will find a Vatel alumni working in the top management position and HR position, which actually helps a lot when you want to find a job.
And it's also this this group is very multicultural based on the amount of campuses that you will find. So it's also great for you, for your network. So when you're going to become an alumni, it will be important for you if you want to establish yourself in a different country, or if you want to find a job, you can count on the alumni to actually help you.
Now, we are located in Bordeaux, so it's in the southwest of France, and it's a really ancient city with a lot of touristic spots and a lot of things to see. So we've put here 3 of the most Instagrammable places of the city and the area. So you've got the picture on your right here, the wine museum, which is especially important because we have one of our campuses which is located right next to it. And the wine museum is one of our partners because we are, among other things, we have a specialization in wine. So that's why the connections between the two things are super important. Bordeaux now. Lucie and myself are not from Bordeaux originally. We moved there a few years ago, and we don't regret our choice, simply because Bordeaux is a super dynamic and like with a lot of things to do as a student, especially. You've got, you can travel around because it's a very touristic area. You've got the ocean just 1 hour away. So if you're, you know, interested in surfing, that's actually the perfect spot for you to go. And we're also very much into food and wine. You know, wine because it's something that has literally shaped the region for centuries, and food because it goes with it. So we're, you know, basically what we think about here, especially in the southwest of France area, is what we're gonna eat and have for a drink later. It's also a city which is super well connected to the main European cities. So we've got Paris, which is 1 hour away by plane, 2 hours by train, and basically you can reach all the main European capital cities very easily. And the student's visa you will get to come study in Bordeaux, obviously, will give you access to travel everywhere in the European Union. So that's super important for you to know as well.
So as for Clémence was telling you that we're part of the Vatel Group, and Vatel Bordeaux, it's actually 27 years, 28 this year, years of experience. We're having a 4-star hotel, so inside of the place, and you're going to understand why it's very important, as well as 2 restaurants. One is the gastronomic one. The second one is a more, we'll say, wine bar kind of attitude, and you're going to see that's also great for the students. It's an environment with 2 campuses. One is for the Bachelor, so in front of the Cité du Vin, and the second one for the MBA. It's actually quite very, everything it's, I will say, sorry, don't find my words. I'm sorry. Those campuses are bright new, so it's actually all the technology are here for you if you want to have conferences or an auditorium. We're able to have a lot of people coming and see us in the best condition. What is important? It's for the restaurant. We also have, you know, an eco label for the restaurant and for the hotel, where sustainability is actually not just something that we're teaching you, but it's something that we actually working on the daily basis, from the supply that they're gonna find for the guests inside of your room to the, as a students, to be able to recycle, don't waste the energy or the water, and even to your plate, because the chef is actually having a garden in the rooftop to be able to, again, consume locally and be part of the sustainable way of making food. Something else to?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that what we're really proud of and what we are committed to is having professionals basically managing all the students on a daily basis as well. So the professors are professionals, so they have a company on the side. Most of the time, it's not they are not just professors who are completely disconnected from the real world. And what we're committed as well is that when you're in the bachelor's, you will be taught by professionals when you will be working at the restaurant or at the hotel or with one of our partners, because you need to understand, how the real work, work environment work. Basically, that's why we have so much intention and dedication to making you professionals.
Now for the bachelor, so you entering usually when you're 12th grade and you just graduate. So here you will be trained on the basic of the job to be able to see by yourself through a very specific way of training you. So you go 2 weeks in school, 2 weeks in practical that you can do inside of a hotel or a restaurant or with local partner. And 4 months of internship each year. Why it's important? Because here you see that you're going to have a very hands-on experience. So you will add experience to your resume by studying at Vatel. What is very important for you, it's the first year, you don't know very well all the job aspects. So you need to decide if you really want to become a business owner and having your own restaurant, or after your internship, your feet are hurting, you say, maybe I want to become to the promotion, do marketing inside of a restaurant. You see, so you're experimenting the first year, housekeeping, front office, food and beverage, kitchen. And after that, you decided what to do in the second year. Second year, it's going to be much more into everything related to the back office, how an hotel or a restaurant are working. So we are talking about human resources, finance, accounting department. We are talking event management. But we are still a business school. So here, remember all those practical aspects. When you're going to train on the profession, you will also on the side, during the technical aspect, learn about how to make business and business. Here we're talking courses in management, human resources, marketing, of course, finance, law, geopolitics, multiculturality. So you see here, those are the core business management courses that you can expect. But on the side, you will have courses related to tourism, images to handle customers, or even courses on how to open your own business. So you're going to have both the business of a business school plus the technical aspect of hospitality management. Last year of the bachelor, which is very important for you, because here at this stage, you're almost an assistant manager, inside of your position. So here we'll say that you're treated like a professional. So you can decide it by going deeper into your study to either use your practical to find again what you want to do if it's still not the case, or you can decide to become an entrepreneur. Then you use your practical to actually try to see if the business idea that you just get will actually be able to end up creating jobs and you as an entrepreneur. And here, as Clémence was saying, the fact that your teacher are professional in activities will help you, because they're going to be here to guide you and to give you some advice. You can also decide to specialize yourself, can be event management, can be revenue management. So here again, it's the last year will be preparing you for the MBA or a master that you can do. So in this case, you're here also on the last year of your program. You can decide to have to go back inside of your country. Some of you may decide that it's enough and the French education that you got at Vatel Bordeaux will be enough, or you can pursue inside of an MBA.
For the MBA, the other is to take you further. So it's a way for you to also win time in your career, because you're going to be able to reach management position quicker. Compared to the bachelor's, here we're more focusing on strategy. Basically, that's the main word of the 2 slides I'm going to follow. The whole program lasts 22 months. You've got overall 12 months of theory and 10 months of internship. So it's 2 internships. between the first and the second year, and a very big one and super important at the end of the last year, because this last internship will enable you, hopefully, to land your first job. What you need to know is that all of our programs, both the Bachelor and the MBA, are recognized by the French state. So with that, you will be able to stay back for at least a year after you complete your degree, and 2 years if you're from India. So all the programs are entirely taught in French or in English. So don't stress yourself if you don't speak French. That's fine. That's not one of the requirements to integrate the program. In that, you will have advanced marketing strategy, financial analysis, entrepreneurship as well. If you have this kind of business idea which is tickling you, you will be able to really get things done in that program. We also focus a lot on projects, group projects, business games, because that's a way for you to work in teams, which is super important, and to be able to really basically start a project from the very beginning to the end. And it's also a good way to create a bit of a competition between you and between some other Vatel students, because in the case of the VIBG, it's a competition between several Vatel schools. So here it's a way also for us to push you to create network between the different schools, not only within the Bordeaux school, but with others. If you have an interest in wine, because we're in Bordeaux, so obviously it made sense for us to go for an MBA in Wine and Spirits Management. So basically the idea is the same. It's also about strategy and landing management position in the wine and spirit sector. So it's a bit more specialized. In terms of the rhythm, you will find the same thing: 12 months of theory, 10 months of internship, the 2 internships being super important in both cases. In the case of the program, we are very proud to be affiliated with the Wine and Spirit Education Trust, which is a British certification, and all students prepare the 3 levels, the 3 first levels. In total, there are 5. The level 5 is for Masters of Wine. The program professors for the wine set is a Master of Wine, and she's absolutely a lovely lady. We were able to do the preparation a few months ago, and I can tell you it's super interesting, super intense as well. But basically, the idea is to for you to be able to get that certification. So it's not a given, you need to do the exam, both tasting and theory. But at the end of the day, you're able to, thanks to that, to better negotiate your salary and your employment, because we have at the moment about 60% of passing rates for the level 3, when overall the average worldwide is more around 35–39% every year. So as you can see, the preparation is working super well. In terms of what you will get in the classrooms, you have strategy again, but for instance, when we're talking about marketing, it's going to be about the strategy of the biggest wine and spirits groups. For instance, we're going to talk about LVMH, about Pernod Ricard, about some of the champagne brands, about some of the most famous Bordeaux wineries here. The idea for you is also to meet a lot of professionals from the sector, which means that we're going to take you do some visits around Bordeaux and even in the Cognac area, if we're talking some of the spirits. And you're going to be meeting people, winemakers, but also people making the barrels, people working as brokers. A broker is a kind of intermediary between some of the biggest wineries and some very prestigious clients. So they are basically, the idea for you is to understand that there are tons of opportunities in that sector, no matter where you are. So if you come from Asia, if you come from Africa, if you come from India, if you come from Latin America, because God knows we love wines from Argentina and Chile, and the US, for instance, there are a lot of things that you can do in that environment. So the idea is to become an expert, both a business expert and at the same time having that knowledge and super expert knowledge in wine and spirits.
And all the knowledge will be for you to get position. So here again, you may be curious about what kind of position you get when you're entering a niche. So of course, you can become a wine expert, and here we're talking sommelier. So if you want to work in an hotel or a restaurant, advising customers on great wine. You can also decide to open your own wine bar, which is becoming very trendy in a lot of places. If we're talking different, as we say, for the wine industry, if we're talking Africa, South Africa, we are talking Argentina, Chile, we are talking even Asia right now in Vietnam or in Japan, you're going to have spirits who's going to be very important. So we are talking import, export, supply chain. We are talking becoming an expert inside of your own country, when in this case, some of you may not have the ability to get the level 3 of the wine set. So here it's an asset also for you, for your salary, to negotiate it. But it's also very important if you want to. During the COVID, we saw the trend about launching a platform to help the people understand the wine, because sometimes we think that wine lovers are snob people. This is not the case. It's very intimidating to actually try the testing, which in reality, the moment you know how to do that, it becomes easier. And you may become the expert who's going to taught the people, normal people like you and Clémence and myself, who will, want to improve their knowledge to become spirit lover and understand, mixology and everything, or just how to buy a good bottle of wine. So we are talking also, like we say in the example, about the wine tourism, because you have in all the country, there may be some winery. So in this case, you may want to offer a tour of your winery to the customers, which can be very interesting. Again, we are talking PR, we're talking food management. In this case, here, it's the expert inside of your business that you're becoming.
We can tell you many things, and we have, but the idea is for you to basically learn more about our students and our alumni, because at the end of the day, they are the living proof of what we do at Vatel. So we've picked 3 of them, 2 of them working in the wine industry, just to give you a few examples. For instance, we had a chat with Aditya just a few weeks ago. He attended with us a webinar by with the French Embassy in India. So is I think the first promotion, the first batch of the wine and spirit specialization, so just a few years ago. And right now he's having a great position as a business manager in charge of all South Asia, Pacific and Singapore for a very big Australian wine brand. So he's in charge of marketing and business development. So it's a very important position.
Then you also got Tanguy, who is currently in a very nice hotel in Maldives, for instance. So, obviously, we picked some interesting careers, but imagine that we have students pretty much everywhere in all the positions you can imagine. We have a lot of students who are in Asia, for instance. We have one guy who decided to create some French fine food brand in China, for instance, and he's French, but he decided to go to China and live there. So basically, as long as you have an idea, if you're passionate about what you're doing, you will see that the Vatel program are a good fit for you, because we're going to mix that passion with some skills in business and in hospitality and in wine. And that's usually a very interesting mix for you later, because you will be able to definitely find a position that suits you the best. And now we are waiting for you to actually add new slide to our presentation to present your own success story. So you see, it's how it works. What are the advantages, Clémence, of studying at Vatel Bordeaux if you're a student? Well, many advantages, Lucy. Thank you for the for the transition. We talked about the alumni, but the alumni cannot, they would not be where they are without the corporate relations department. So our colleagues here play a super important role, because they are the ones in touch with the company. So as you can see, we're having students going into the most important hotel groups. I'm sure you recognize some of the names. So they're working both locally, because we have 70 local partners, especially for the Bachelor program, because you know that there are practical training in these programs, and at least 150 partners worldwide. Overall, during the last few years, we have had 100% placement, including during the COVID years. Okay, so we know that it was difficult for schools to be able to maintain the internship placement, and that's what they were able to do. So they've done a pretty amazing job.
what is also super important for you to know is that the students are happy with their internship. It's not about, making the coffee and making photocopies. The idea is really for you to have an actual role, and you will be progressing throughout all the years of studies. At first, going to be quite operational, and then you're moving on into more management and assistant management position. So they are your main point of contact for everything related to your career. So you go to them if you want to apply for a specific job, if you want advice on the French work market, because it might be different from, and it is definitely different from the work market in Morocco, in Vietnam, for instance. So you need to be able to know what is expected of you when you will be taking interviews. So they are here for that, and they are here also to connect you with professionals. They're also inviting a lot of people to the classroom. I think just a few weeks ago, we had an alumni who is working currently at Sofitel or one other group, and she came here to basically introduce present them what she was doing. She was in an HR position. So the idea is really to constantly put you in contact with the professional world, and honestly, they are doing a very interesting job. And even, like I said, even during the COVID years. So it's something that we are very proud of.
These are a career, job fairs that they're helping you to participate to understand. Again, it's not just about working in big hotel or restaurant. It's also helping you to find the right position for you. And as you say, as you see, there are so many opportunities. So they're helping you in a very, very efficient way. Oops, sorry. So here a little bit of teasing, yeah. So we are not just helping you, to find an internship through the whole process. So the moment you're going to actually meet us, you're going to be able to talk with Clémence and myself to be able to guide you to see if Vatel is the right fit for you. And once again, if you have the great quality and if you're struggling, we're here to guide you at any point in time. But you can also decide, to discuss with our students. So at the end of the month, we're going to launch a chat box when you're going to be able to interact with students from all over the world. So you can pick up students from your region, your own country, or somebody else. Like that, you have a different point of view from people who have done the same choice, meaning coming in a different country, what was the surprise that they were having. So here it's going to be very concrete. When you're arriving here and we are welcoming you in France, you need to know and to understand that there is a lot of paperwork and sometimes it can be overwhelming. In this case, we have a student's affair. So it's helping you for the accommodation, opening a bank account, finding a doctor who speaks English, for your SIM card. So all the aspect when you're going to have to face the French administration, especially the social security, or getting, there is a special thing to be able to have a reduction on your accommodation. So here, the Students' Affair is helping you the moment you set foot in France. After that, during your year, you may want to have a little bit of fun, because until now we were only talking about the courses, the program, the business schools, and something very serious. The reality is you have also a students' council who's going to help you, party, find a great place to enjoy a drink, to be able to do some sport, and even to have some mentoring. If you're struggling with some courses, the teacher are always here, to give you a hand, but sometimes you just want, an extra help. And here we have a mentoring program. We also doing some associative work. So if, for the pink ribbon for the concert, or if you want cleaning beaches. So we're also having a more social kind of exposure also, because we want you to have, again, be part of the community and be aware of what is happening inside of your environment.
Yeah, we're just going to ask, if you have a project which is really important for you, something that you would like to propose to the school, we are always taking initiative and we are always encouraging the students to propose some stuff. So if you want to create an association dedicated to a specific topic, or for instance, we have been doing some food collecting activities for association recently. So basically, if you want to do something, you can always try to get us on board. It's like it's something that we do really regularly. Now, the serious bit of the webinar: how to apply to the amazing programs we've talked about for now half an hour. Well, it's really simple. Lucy, wanna go over?
Yeah. So I will just separate the bachelor for the MBA. So the bachelor, we are taking the students 12th grade graduation. This is an obligation. At this point, for all the program, you can have an interview and you have an online test. At the bachelor level, the interview will be half an hour, more if we actually are getting to know you and we are enjoying ourselves. But here at this stage, we know that you cannot know everything and you're here to learn, because again, we told you that you are here to be trained. But we're going to pay attention to what your teacher were thinking of your job. Were you late? Were you not attending school? And here, red flag. But we also, if your grades are not good, okay, it's a discussion that we're going to have, because maybe the high school way of learning history was not for you, but becoming a professional working with hands-on experience, you may bloom into a future very happy professional. So here a discussion again, and we're going to look at your maturity. Now at the MBA level, here it's going to be 45 minutes of interview. And here, let me tell you that we are taking you very seriously. You need to have a project telling us that it's going to be wanting to do an MBA because you want a better salary. Not going to work with us. You need to be able to tell us a story. I'm entering this program because I want to do this, because the skills that you're offering. So again, a conversation, here a very serious one. You apply online. So you're sending you all your documentation, and we're scheduling an appointment. For the online test, it's 2 hours, general knowledge, analytics, personality question, English. And here, of course, this is a test, plus the motivation later. We're grading everything. And at the end, we're answering you positively or negatively based on everything, but you always receive an answer from us within 24 to 48 hours. So we are not making you wait too long.
So as you have seen, the application process is a bit challenging, especially for the interview part. So for some of you, for the youngest ones in the assembly, it might be your first interview ever. So obviously it's a bit stressful. So we've decided to give you a bit of tips to you. The obvious one, do some research on the school and the program. Because I can tell you, it's not that obvious. You need to make sure that you know what the program is about, because you're in for 3 years, 5 years maybe, so it's a long time when you don't like what you're doing. So basically, the idea is for you to make sure that you're making the right choice. The interview is also another way to make sure that you're making the right choice, because we're going to ask a question and we're expecting you to ask us question as well. So if you have the research, if you have done your research, that part's going to be much easier for you. Same thing, appearance. Make sure that on the D-Day you look your best, because it's also going to help your self-confidence. And during the interview part, we all need a bit of a confidence boost. That's what this is for. And also remember that the first impression lasts. So it's within the first 5 to 10 seconds, we've already have a good idea of who you are. So it may seem unfair and a bit rushed, but that's the truth, because we've been doing that for 6 or 7 years, I think now. So we know immediately if what the students we have in front of you is hospitality material or not.
And just for something, because Clémence actually got that pretty often, showing us your best pajamas, it's not the best way to actually get a first impression. And you may be joking and think that I'm crazy when I say that, but actually it's not at all the case. We have a lot of people thinking that being in their pajamas, it's going to be a chill way of communicating with us. I say that you need to be at ease with yourself, do your research, but not so at ease with us.
And and in the hospitality industry, you know that you will be wearing uniforms. You have a kind of experts business part to play. So looking nice and prepared on the interview is super important. And that part is really for the MBA student especially.
project yourself in the future and know what you're talking about. So you have to be curious about your environment, because we will ask you questions about the innovation in your country, for instance, about what does the hospitality and tourism look like in your country. So you need to be able to answer us. So the last time I had a guy who told me that the latest innovation for him was online checking. So I don't know for you, but it's not, doesn't seem really recent to me. So basically, it says something about him that he didn't really do his research. So we are training you to be future professionals and future managers, director, entrepreneurs. So as such, you need to be able to understand where you can do business and how you can do it. So we're not asking you to have a 10 years business plan, but at least know where you want to go, in what direction.
And just something to for you to say. So the MBA level, we say that for the bachelor, we are taking 12 grade students. At the MBA level, whatever bachelor you study can be business administration, hospitality management, tourism, but can also be languages, history, psychology, or even engineering and IT, because as we said previously, you may have an idea, take over a family business. You may decide to add
New skills because you think that this industry may be beneficial for you based on the previous skills that you heard. So never think that you're not fit for entering this industry. If you have a good project, we're going to be listening to you and we're going to try to find a way to make your project become the reality.
And by doing that, you also identify your strengths and weaknesses, because you know where you're good at, what you're good at, and you will know what needs improving. And it's, you know, the whole work on yourself thing will enable you to really enjoy and take advantage of the program that you will be applying for, because at least you will know that you will get your return investment. We're talking to you as, once again, as professionals and future business people. So you need to know what you will be investing in. And it's important that you really take the interview part seriously.
And the last thing, we cannot be more, it's motivation and passion. This is amazing job. You're going to find great people. But the reality, if you're passionate, it's going to be much more than a job. You're not going to be, you know, worried at what time I'm going to end up. You're going to enjoy yourself. And which is actually, for me, the definition of happiness. If you're waking up every morning and you're happy about what you're doing, this is completely different. So this is very important for you to be passionate and to be motivated when you decide to choose an hospitality career.
So now, if we told you has interested you, do feel free to email us at this address. You can also scan the QR code and you will end up directly on our website and on the application website.
Just one last thing, if your MBA students interested by following what we were saying, we are doing a special session on November 27th. You're gonna have, you know, students from the MBA in hospitality management and the one from the Wine and Spirit, who's gonna answer your question. We're gonna talk about the scholarship for the provided by the French government. So if you want, we're gonna have the information directly online, or once again, you can email us. So it's gonna be the 27th at 11 o'clock French time.
Great, thank you so much for a brilliant presentation. I know that whenever I've stayed in a hotel, the hospitality industry in particular have been amazing. So I can imagine, you know, really learning it would be amazing from the inside out. Now we've got quite a few questions here, so let's get started with the first one, which I think you've already touched on. Would I be on an internship during my time at Vatel? And you have said yes.
Yes, several actually. So during the bachelor's, you have 2 internships which are planned during the first year and the second year. During the first year, it's mostly in France. If you are not from France or Europe, you will be allowed, exceptionally, to go back to your country if you want to do your internship in your country. The second year is abroad, so you have to go somewhere else. In the MBA programs, you also have two internships, one in between the 2 years and one ending the program. So it will be always around 4 to 6 month internship, 4 being the minimum if you want to be paid in France. you will be allowed to do your internship in Europe as well under certain conditions. So it's in that case, you need to touch base with the corporate department, and they will tell you what you can do and how to do it. For the internship, we're helping you a lot because the team will place you in some companies. We have had 100% placement in the last few years. And especially for the MBA program, the last internship is super important because that's what usually ends up and turn into a first position, either in the company where you will be doing your internship or in another one. And in any case, you know, all the students, when they finish their program at the MBA level, they are employed within 3 months after they complete everything.
Okay, thank you. And next question. What is the situation like now since the impact of COVID-19?
Actually quite good. For the profession, for the industry, we open up and something very strange happened. You know, we were thinking that this industry is a dinosaur, that the job will be complicated, crazy, you know, to enter an industry when you need to interact with guests, with the COVID and everything. It has created a lot of different ways to be able to interact. So what Clémence was saying, the emergence of the technology, but emergence also of new creative ideas. And right now, actually, the moment we open up and we were having people inside of the restaurant and the hotel, we have a shortage of staff, which is actually quite interesting because it means that you're able to negotiate your salary even better than before. And there is more position that we have people here. So you see, I will say that the COVID has brought entrepreneurship mindset because the people were facing, you know, how do I do that? So they were actually creating new ideas. And inside of this industry, it's one who's bounced back all the time. So I will say that worldwide soon, the moment the COVID will be under, will be for everybody probably a little bit more easier to handle. It is a good fit, which actually will provide for you a lot of opportunities in not just in France, but in a lot of countries also.
And for the school specifically, because you know, I think some students are worried that we're back to online classes and everything. Not at all. Not this year. I mean, obviously we will be following the government's guidelines, but for the moment, all of our students are back on campus. They are doing practical training like they should. Obviously, we are respecting the safety measures, so they're all wearing masks and everything. But for the moment, you know, everything is under control. And you may know or not that, but basically all the students and the professionals in the hospitality industry in France had to be vaccinated or had to do tests very regularly if they want to be in contact with guests. It's mandatory. It's in the law. So that's why we're able to manage everything pretty much as if it were normal. And for the activities, I mean, the students can go visit the professional, they can go to the wineries, and they also organize a get-together afterwards. So as far as the school part is involved, we are pretty much back to normal. And the students we have recruited this year have all arrived safely. They all have their visas and everything. So basically, France was and Europe were some of the first countries to open up their borders to students, and that hasn't changed. And as far as we are concerned, we're happy to see everyone coming and arriving safely.
Great, and actually this will follow on to the next question. Would I gain help in terms of my visa and accommodation advice?
Yes, sure. As we say, so this part is for us, for the visa. So we're helping you until you come to France. So the visa process, we're sending you everything. What you need to understand, it's to be able to get the visa, you need to pay the full scholarship, the tuition fees, sorry. You need also to have minimum 3 months of accommodation. And in this case, we're helping you to get the accommodation. We, as Clémence was telling you during the presentation, we are working with all the residency, the students' residency and agency in Bordeaux, because it's a very student city. So there is a lot of bubbly and activity, and we are highly in demand. So we're helping you. Of course, the sooner you're going to apply, the better prices you're going to receive. To give you an average, it goes from 450 when you're the first one to apply, to 850 per month. So that's usually the price for the accommodation. And regarding the tuition fee, we highly encourage you. We are very transparent, but it's going to be based on your nationality. If you're European, you're going to have different fees than the ones who are coming from international. So that's why you can just send us an email and we're going to answer you. We are sending you everything. So we are very transparent regarding the price.
And you can start applying as soon as right now. And we will advise you to complete everything and you register at the latest at the end of May. It's not a deadline that we put ourselves, it's really more related to accommodation. Because as you said, Bordeaux is it's a super attractive city for students. So basically, after the end of May, we will not be able to guarantee that we will find you an accommodation. And you need to keep that in mind, because for the visa, you need to have an address. You need over documentation, but we're going to help you out, and we can even review the files with you before you send it. But basically, be aware that if you want to apply, the earlier the better. It's the case for, I think, most of the institutions. But knowing the accommodation market in Bordeaux, I can tell you that even where you are in Bordeaux, it's complicated. So imagine what it can be when you're on your own and coming from India or Vietnam. So you need to anticipate that a little bit, and it's also a good way for you to prepare your stay and to have everything in mind and everything sorted out for when you will do your visa.
Thank you. And do I need my COVID vaccination before arrival, or can I get this at your university?
Both actually. So usually, if we take the case of all the students that we welcomed this year, they were all vaccinated in their own country before traveling. Of course, the measure were to have the PCR negative test before taking the plane. Some students in country were having just, based on the recognition of the vaccine by WHO. In this case, some students were coming from country where the vaccine was not recognized by France. And you can get vaccinated here. No, not really at the university, but the university will help you find the center close to you and to get the vaccination.
Well, it's very easy to get vaccinated here. Basically, you book an appointment online and you go directly to the center. And vaccination is free as well. So it's important for you to know that there will not be any cost for you to get vaccinated. But we can, if you have some more questions about that, we can obviously answer them in private sessions.
Perfect, thank you. And do you offer any language courses alongside the training of the profession?
Sure. So the courses can be taught, as Clémence was saying, 100% in French, 100% in English. If you're talking the international class, the courses are in English. French is mandatory because you need to be able to enjoy yourself during your practical or your internship or to find a job. If you don't know German at all, you will learn Spanish. If you know some German, you can pursue German. And now, for example, if you want Chinese or if you want Russian or Japanese, in this case, we have an online platform when you can learn by yourself. But the courses that we're providing, it's French, Spanish, and German.
And a little tip if you want to enjoy a bit more and be a bit less stressed when you arrive, try to get some French classes online. You've got a network of French institutes in your respective countries. I mean, we can testify that they are usually super nice. They even organize events like movies night and everything, like food night also. So, little tip, that's always nice to know. And it's a good way for you to anticipate your arrival. Here we're just in November, so you still got a few months ahead of you to basically try to get some basic level of French before you arrive.
And so this is the Alliance Française, when you're going to find, it's a huge network. You can also ask Campus France, who's going to be to study in France, the most important part for your country to search, or you can even go online and find apps who are completely free, just to have the basic understanding of how to say hi, bye, and how are you. At least it's going to help you a little bit.
Perfect, thank you. And we do have one student asking, would we get to do some wine tasting as well along the way?
Yes. No, of course. So wine tasting is
present in all the programs, I mean,
except for the MBA in hotel management. But basically, for for the bachelor, it's part of the basic knowledge you got to have, because you will be doing internship in F&B. Maybe you will want to open your own wine bar or your own restaurant. So in that case, you need to have that knowledge in wine. In the case of our school, it was only normal that we had some more classes about that. So we also have some classes which are completely dedicated to that. So it's tasting rooms. They are under international norms. So that's why we are able to be affiliated with the WineSet Institute. And obviously, if you are really into wine, do the specialization in wine and spirits management, because there, don't worry, you will have a lot of things to taste. When we did the training with Lucy a few months ago, it was something like 7 or 8 different wines a session. So it was day session. Huh? Don't get crazy about, like, it's not 1 hour. It's like it was a full day thing. But basically, you will be able to taste a lot of things, and not just from the region. Obviously, we're in Bordeaux, so it's one of the regions where wine was created, where all the techniques are born, more or less. But you will also taste Burgundy wine, Champagne, and wines from other parts of the world. So
And
it's
spirits
very
also,
thorough.
because we were talking about cognac, who's close by, but you have gin, you have whiskey, you have beers, but even you're going to have workshop on tea, coffee, even sometimes water, because when you become a beverage specialist, here it's a question, the sky is the limit, because even if your country, you can find, some specificity, some rice alcohol for Asia part that we don't know at all. So you will find that it's a very exciting, actually, adventure to enter the wine and spirit industry.
And we forgot cocktail making.
Yes.
Cocktail making classes, and we have one guy at the restaurant who is in charge of training you. And I can tell you that he's making very nice cocktails.
And if you're very good, you can end up on the menu.
I mean, your drink.
No, your drink.
Amazing. Well, I think I'm coming to Bordeaux next summer for some wine tasting.
Anytime, Sabula.
Definitely the thing I'm going to be doing. We have a couple more questions, so let's get through the last 2. What would you say is the most important skill in hospitality? Customer service is also very important, no?
That's actually, it's a set of skills, because we said that based on your own personality. Of course, welcoming guests for Asian students, it's come naturally. French people can be a little rude. So basically, we may have different skills to enter this industry, probably more detail oriented. So organization. Adaptability, yes. Curiosity.
Open-mindedness in general, I think. Open-mindedness is super important, because you're going to have guests from all over the world, not speaking your language, being born and raised from different conditions. So being able to adapt to all those kind of people, I think that derives directly from open-mindedness.
Yeah, I agree. And definitely attentiveness as well. I think that's definitely one to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're on to the last question. So you mentioned something about the interview before. How can I show passion in my interview? Do you have any advice?
First, it's very interesting. You're not just the only one behind the screen. We're also here to help you. So, of course, we're going to ask questions. Yesterday, to give you an example, I was having a students who were applying for the MBA in wine, and who was giving me vague answer. But, I was saying strange, because he seemed very nice, good looking. He make an effort, he do some research, but here I'm not getting the answer that I want. And it's by giving him a little pinch, by giving him a concrete example, that here I could see, in his eyes, the heart coming, because he was passionate. He was able, to give me something very specific. And here, it was like looking at somebody solving a problem, because here it was very concrete. So we adapt also the interview to be able to see if the passion is here. And sometimes the passion comes only later when you have already experienced. So it will depend on your project, your personality, but also your age. Because when you're starting, you're very fresh and you may not have discovered your path yet.
but don't worry, we're very good at feeling things.
Yes.
Including with I've had some, especially for the younger students, I've had a few of them who were really shy, and it was because it was their first interview, and also because they are more introverted, or because a few weeks ago I had a girl who is French but who's living in the US. But it was really recent for her, and her language and English was still a bit rough, and I could tell like she was completely stressed out. But at the same time, you could tell she had done her research, that she was really determined. So because she had that idea and she would not budge, and that was clear, even if she was quite discreet and quite like very shy, and but you know, in the case of these kind of personalities, we know that by putting them in the right context and giving them the structure and pushing them, and we also have like classes that are prepared for that, because they are doing the national secret, they are doing improvisation, so theater. They also have some classes related to self-confidence. So it's called self-image, I believe. So the idea is to basically be able to adapt to all kinds of personalities. And that's also why you have a personality test in the admission part, because sometimes it helps us also understand you better. So not just the interview, but also the personality aspect.
Of course, and that's very, very important, I think, across all jobs, you know, to be able to show your personality, particularly in an interview. It's difficult, but it's worthy for sure. Anyway, thank you so much for a brilliant webinar, lots of information there, lots to unpack. Thank you to attending, and also for all of your questions. They've been very, very interesting, and I'm sure they will help at least one student along the way. And for those of you who are watching this on demand, we will be in touch with you as well to further reach out from Bordeaux as well, and they'll be able to get through to you. If you have any questions, please do send them in, as we will of course get to those as well. Any last words from you guys, or I think you've said everything.
Well, yeah, we're just happy, you know, to be able to provide some guidance to the students. So don't hesitate to actually contact us, even if you think, you know, that it's a very
Long shot.
yes.
No, but it's true, because sometimes we're like, oh, hospitality, I don't see myself really in that. And you know, at the least we can do is to tell you if you're wrong or not. I mean, if we think you're wrong or not. And also by getting in touch with us, it's also getting in touch with our students, because you know, we can help you out with being related to the content of the classes, about how to apply, about the visa bit, you know, not the stuff, not the fun bits basically, but the students will be here to share with you their experience. You know, how was it for them to actually change countries, leave their families, how are the practical training is like, how is the life in Bordeaux as well, because that's the kind of information you want to know, and that you want to hear from students, and not us basically.
And don't hesitate to ask any kind of question. Every question is actually an interesting one, because we said that it's a conversation, but not just during the interview. You can contact us before, you know, to explain what the school is doing, how the interview will go. So reach out to us, and even if you know it's to guide you to different school in France or elsewhere, you are here, and we are here also. So why not chat together?
And generally we don't bite.
Yeah.
It can happen, but it's mostly for
coffee, and usually
and it's going to be mostly for the MBA students.
It's all good. It's all the wine that we've been drinking. That's definitely what it is. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining, and if you do have questions, we'll be in touch very soon, and have a great day or evening wherever you are. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you.